everyone, thanks for joining us for this video. Today we will be talking about the Latinx Accelerator program we have coming up in the spring. We are actually going to be doing the Hot Ones Challenge. So we're going to have a question for every wing, talking about our experiences as entrepreneurs, the program, and just a little bit so you can kind of get to know us. Since it is the beginning of the year, you're just joining us, if you're just finding our channel, love to do some intros.
Are you?
Hi, I'm Chris Lucas, co-founder of Stitch Crew, serial entrepreneur, angel investor, and really just love working with startups. It's a passion of mine. So that's what we do, and hopefully we'll have a really active and impactful year.
Hey everyone, Erica Lucas. I'm also the co-founder of Stitch Crew and a co-founder of Vestor, which is a fund that invests in women-led companies in the care economy and future of work.
And I'm Greg Hallman, CEO of Occupath. Occupath was one of the first companies to go through the accelerator, the Stitch Crew Accelerator, back in 2018, and I'm nervous.
I'm Gabby, Program Director at Stitch Crew, and then I'll be our little host for the day. Before we get started on the challenge, though, we do want to kind of provide some updates on our programming that's coming up. 2023 is a big year for us. We're going to be talking about the Latinx Accelerator program during this hour, but we also have our Fem Health Accelerator program. Applications are open for that. If you have a product or company that is innovating women's health in some way, please head over to stitchcrew.com to fill out that application. Applications are open until January 27th. And we definitely want to talk about the Latinx program. Applications are open for that. There are some questions in there that will kind of make you think about your company, how you want to scale and grow, but really super easy. We do ask that you submit a 1-minute video telling us more about yourself, something that wasn't covered. We do ask that you just keep it to 1 minute. It is an 8-week program for majority Latino-owned businesses here in OKC. So if that is you, head over to stitchcrew.com/Latino-Accelerator. We also have it in Spanish. We also have some exciting news coming up. Stay tuned to our videos, to our socials. We'll be putting the links in our bio as well.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
All right, so for this session, we're doing the Hot Ones Challenge. 10 spices, 10 chicken wings, growing heat intensity. How are you guys on spice?
I can do it.
Bring it on. Greg?
You know the salsa that they give you at McDonald's for the breakfast burrito?
We don't eat there.
Even that's too spicy. Valentina, Cholula, I can't handle
Greg,
that.
So this will be fun. We have our first 5 on our plate right now. We need at least one big bite. We have napkins too, so we don't get any of that spice heat in our eyes, mouth, you know. We have ice, smoothies, water, whatever it is to kind of get you through to wing number 10. Let's get started.
Yeah.
So it's not that spicy.
It's supposed to not be so spicy.
Classically mild.
All right, so the first question I have is, why is this program important to have specifically here in Oklahoma City? All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Left to right, one big bite.
Well, not bad.
Not bad.
No,
Yeah, very good.
Well, I think it's important to have programs like this for Latinos throughout the country. Sorry. But specifically in areas like Oklahoma City, where the Latino population is just growing at a faster rate than any other group. In fact, we already represent over 21% of the population here in Oklahoma City, and that's projected to actually skyrocket in the next 10 years. So we also know that Latinos launch businesses faster than, again, any other group in the nation, so nobody needs to tell us to become entrepreneurs and to launch businesses. We're very good at that. So we need to have resources, networks, and stuff like that to be able to support the entrepreneurs that are launching those businesses.
I think it's interesting to note that how much Oklahoma City has changed. I was born and raised here, and when I was younger, there weren't as many Latinos as there are now. And now, I mean, you look at Oklahoma City public schools, where it's close to half of the student population are young Latinos and Latinas. And then you talk about how one in every 4 Oklahomans is soon to be, it's close to being 25%. 1 in every 4 Oklahomans that you meet will be of Hispanic descent. So yeah, this program is going to be a game changer because there's never been anything like this before, and it's going to raise the bar for economic development in Oklahoma City and our community. Oh, that's sweet.
That's really good.
Delicious. Not spicy at all, right?
You're going to do better than you thought, Greg.
Yeah.
Like you guys mentioned, we do start businesses at a much faster rate. But what are some of those business growth barriers that Latinx entrepreneurs specifically are seeing?
Yeah, we are launching businesses at a faster rate. One of the challenges that we have is that we're not scaling them over $1 million in revenue. And I think a lot of things contribute to that. One is the lack of awareness of the resources and not having the networks, the established networks, to be able to know how to scale your company and leverage people to, whether it's for knowledge, whether it's for additional networks, additional opportunities. So there's that barrier. There's also the barrier that I think most people are aware of, which is the lack of capital going to Latino-owned businesses, whether it's with private investments and venture capital. Latinos receive less than 1% of venture capital, or whether it's with loans, where we also struggle with it. And again, the lack of access to capital has to do a lot with, who what resources exist. Do you know everything that's available to you? Those are just some of the barriers that, we know firsthand entrepreneurs lack, particularly Latino entrepreneurs.
I was surprised to see that out of all the Hispanic-owned businesses in the United States, all the Latino-owned businesses in the United States, only 3% reach $1 million or more in revenue, in annual sales revenue, in annual sales. And I was shocked to see that. And we need more businesses hitting that benchmark.
There's definitely some systemic stuff that is going on that is kind of getting us to hit this kind of scale wall. Do you think there's any mindset stuff that we kind of need to work on as well that we can, we're hopefully addressing in this program?
There's a phrase in Spanish, it says, el que tenga su tienda que la tienda. And you could argue that he or she who has their business needs to mind their business. And what it means is, the way I understand it is if you're going to be involved in a business, you need to be there every day, be the first person there, the last one to leave. And that's fine, but if you're talking about scaling a business, you can't replicate, you can't clone yourself to be in 2, 3, 4, 5 locations. Eventually, you have to bring on more people. Eventually, you have to think about how can I scale beyond my hours, beyond my city. Because if you keep it to just how many hours you can work in a day, as a business owner, it's going to be real hard to hit $1 million in annual revenue if you're not creating systems to scale.
Yeah. A lot of things influence your mindset, especially in Mexico. I was born and raised there. And how you're raised, even with religion, the beliefs that your parents or your family have, which for me was more money equals more problems, or money is the root of all evil. And so you develop this mindset that maybe, in order to stay humble, in order to stay, with a service mindset, you need to stay away from, building a lot of money and stuff like that. So I think that there's definitely mindset beliefs that, maybe you grew up with. I actually, being married with Chris and watching him launch businesses and now having our own businesses together, I've learned a lot from him, and he calls me out on a lot of those beliefs that I still have, because it's hard to get away from that.
Absolutely. And hopefully that's something we can address too during this program, is just, being around like-minded people, like-minded entrepreneurs that are looking to grow, that are looking to reach that 1 million. Then we can share resources, share, lessons learned, things like that. Big bite. No, it's good. I like that.
It's a unique flavor.
Yeah.
All right.
A little
So
spicy.
It's getting there, right?
So we've talked a little bit about just the statistics and the fact and mindsets behind scaling your business. Why it's important to have this program here in Oklahoma City, but I'm curious, starting with Chris, why is it important for you personally to have this program here in OKC?
Well, I think it's just a lack of resources for this particular community, I think. And, being married into this family and this community, it's important to me on a personal level, but, there's a lot of opportunity. And I've seen firsthand that, this community particularly is hardworking, and they just want to grow, they want to scale. And so, I like that. I like that passion. I like that work ethic. I like that desire and that passion. So I want to see it happen. I think there's surprisingly, not surprisingly, a lot of really fantastic Hispanic Latin businesses out there, and they need to be recognized and kind of propped up, and help them achieve what they want to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on. It's our community. I was born and raised into a family of entrepreneurs, that started businesses not because it was cool or sexy, but out of need. And they did it without access to capital, without built-in networks, without generational wealth. So I can only imagine, what if we put all of those things together and give people access? Then, first of all, it's the noble thing to do. It's the right thing to do, but it's also the profitable thing to do. As for economic development, you mentioned that, Greg, it would be dumb for us not to do it because there's unrealized potential there. In fact, there's several studies that show that we would be able to infuse $4 trillion more into the economy if we would invest more in women and entrepreneurs of color. So
we'll talk a little bit about barriers. A lot of times people often, for whatever reason, are afraid to take that step, right? What if I fail, right? And instead, the mentality should be, well, what if you don't fail, right? One of my favorite phrases in Spanish is, "No por miedo los coyotes no vamos a criar gallinas," which translates to, just because there's coyotes out there, that's not going to stop me from having chickens in my yard. So helping people get over that fear, I think, is going to be one of the things that I'm going to enjoy seeing the most out of this program. People taking that leap of faith and growing because of it.
And challenging people. Sometimes we're not. It's easy to get comfortable. I know that, and we've all been there as entrepreneurs ourselves. There's like, oh, we're comfortable. We have a good lifestyle business. We're providing for our family. And sometimes it's easy to get in that place where, like, we're okay. And it's always good to be grateful. And it's not about just, an ambition. It's okay to have ambition, but it's not always about that. It's just about being challenged. And hopefully when you bring a group of peers together, it becomes kind of a challenge too, right? And the belief that you can do more. Mm-hmm. And why it's important to do more is not just ambition or to make more money, but what you could do potentially with that money. You could contribute back into the community.
We've all seen those stats about money spent locally stays local. For me, I was definitely one of those people that, yes, had entrepreneurs in my family, but never thought that I would be anywhere near this. And now, almost 5 years in, it's completely changed my mindset on this. I was also born in Mexico, raised here in Oklahoma City, pretty much my whole life since I was 4 or 5. So knowing this community and seeing people that we know, sharing this opportunity, sharing with each other, sharing resources. We've helped entrepreneurs before through our other accelerator programs, and that's always great. And I'm super proud of what, the entrepreneurs that we've helped, but actually having it be part of, your community, it adds a little something extra.
Yeah, this one's pretty good.
That was really good.
How you doing, Greg?
Man, I never thought I could handle this.
You were letting fear kick in, right?
We're here to challenge you, Greg.
Yeah.
I was like, are there any paramedics standing by?
You're the coyote.
Yes.
So, Chris, are you drinking water because you need it or just, dry?
It's there. I thought, that looks tasty.
It does.
No water. No water
how
yet.
is
Haven't.
treating you guys?
I haven't drank my smoothie yet.
I got that whey protein coating in my tongue.
That's
Cold.
smart.
All right, on to the next question. I have some stats I want to quote here. So, immigrants have started more than half of America's startup companies valued at $1 billion or more, unicorns. Nearly 2/3 of those U.S. unicorns were founded or co-founded by immigrants or the children of immigrants. Almost 80% of America's unicorn companies have an immigrant founder or an immigrant in a key leadership role. So as we've all seen through the years, representation matters. It matters, whether it's on social, whether it's on Hollywood, TV, whatever it is. But we don't always see those same, as Chris mentioned earlier, we don't always see those same Latinx companies that are out there, doing great, a successful story by any means. We don't always see those on the media. So I'm curious, I want to know about you guys. Representation matters, and what you see is what you become, what you believe you can become. Who or what motivated your entrepreneurship story?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm getting inspired a lot by my wife Nancy, because to me, it's. I feel like she has it in her bones to be an entrepreneur. Like she talks about how when she was a little girl, her and her family would sell, tamales or burritos back in her hometown, and it's similar to what Erica was saying, that out of necessity, not because it's cool to start a company. And she studied business administration down there, got her bachelor's in that in Mexico, and her and her family have built a big business here in Oklahoma City, a Mexican seafood chain with over 30 employees, and it's inspiring to see what she's really good with numbers. I'm inspired by.
And she's already oversees the $1 million.
Yeah, that's right.
Part. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. On to the next milestone, right? And so definitely inspired by her, and I'm inspired by my mom and dad too, because my dad is a hard worker, always gets promoted quickly up in leadership wherever he works, and I got I think the fearlessness too from my mom. She talks a lot about not letting fear hold you back. For example, there was a lot of obstacles that she had to overcome when she came here, not knowing any English, and she set goals and did all kinds of things, whether in education or just everyday life, to get over obstacles. For example, teaching herself how to drive, where her family was wasting money paying other people to drive them around when she first got to Oklahoma City. But she's like, why are we wasting money doing this? I'm just going to teach myself how to drive. And she came here when she was 19, I think. And and that grit, the hard work, it's definitely an inspiration for me. And wanting to build something stems from that. Wanting to create something out of nothing, building a company, it's all related to everything I just said.
I grew up with my grandpa, who helped raise me, was an entrepreneur. My mother was an entrepreneur. She had a flower shop and a kids' boutique store. Chris, before I even, I was like you, Gabby, because I had seen how hard it was to be an entrepreneur. I was like, hell no, I don't want anything to do with entrepreneurship. I want my steady paycheck, the security of having health insurance and all of those things. So I actually went the completely different way. And then it wasn't until I married Chris, and he's definitely the risk taker, the no fear. We'll figure it out as we go. And it took me a while, but more than inspiration for me. So obviously they all inspire me, but it wasn't until we decided to actually, for me, I know Chris had experienced this over and over, but for me, it wasn't until we actually launched something together and I started seeing how really difficult it was, that I figure out it's not about the inspiration, it's the discipline that it requires. And that actually living the day to day, because it's like this. And even in the same day, like you might, oh, great, we closed a contract or whatever. And then later on, I don't know, something happens and that high or that motivation goes away. And then you just have to be disciplined to do it. And I think that learning that discipline then continues to help me go through the bad days, right? So a lot of inspiration. And then you meet other people that are doing it and that are experiencing the same thing, and they inspire me too. So I think it started with my family and Chris, and then it just continues to evolve as we meet more entrepreneurs that are going through the same stuff that we all go through. Sometimes feel great, and sometimes it feels like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in the Lucas blood because my grandparents on both sides were entrepreneurs, so probably inspiration comes from that, seeing that, having some role models that have had success, had a lot of failures. So, I've always gone into this knowing that I'm not inspired by the idea of being really wealthy because I'm an entrepreneur. Probably not going to happen. If that's your goal or inspiration, you might want to go do something else. But I like to be in control, kind of control your own destiny, right? I mean, and the way to do that, I feel, is by starting and trying to grow companies on your own or with partners. So that's my inspiration. But I think family. I think it's just in my DNA.
The media, you talked about that, Gabby, hypes the whole entrepreneurship lifestyle or whatever you want to call it. But for the longest time, it has focused on one very particular type of entrepreneur, which is the one that's backed by venture capital or sexy and doing all of these cool things. But as Chris said, it is hard as hell, and you can become very wealthy. I mean, it's one of the fastest way to close the wealth gap, right, and to achieve economic wealth. But it's not easy, and it doesn't come overnight. A lot of the success stories that we see on the newspaper, I mean, it actually took years, decades sometimes. So I just wanted to point that out for not just the entrepreneurs that are looking, hopefully, to apply for this program, but also for aspiring entrepreneurs. Do it for the right reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I probably should clarify. You definitely can become, if that's. I just don't think that should be your only inspiration is wealth, because if that is you're probably not going to make it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other variables that have to be there, and that doesn't sustain. So
yeah, I think something we learned through the founders, throughout the programs is, it's great to have that kind of goal, but that's not what will move you. That's not what will get you out of bed every day. Yeah, and really help you through those tough times, because there are tough times.
As an entrepreneur, I like having the freedom to create your schedule. For example, if you want to just take a time out and come eat some super hot wings, you can do that.
They're not even hot yet.
That's right.
I'm ready for the hot. Let's go.
Oh, that's what they all say.
Roasted bell and scorpion pepper. Oh.
Greg, you just stop. Let's go.
Don't let the fear control you, Greg. Big bite.
Oh, okay, this one's got a little taste to it.
Oh,
That tastes horrible. Oh no.
It was at this moment that he knew.
So since it's our fifth wing, we're halfway through the challenge. Let's answer some of those frequently asked questions that we get about the accelerator. You can also go to stitchcrew.com/Latino-Accelerator to see all of these answers to these questions and more. The application is open through February 10th at midnight. Get your application in. Your business has to be located within the city limits, OKC city limits, and we'll add a link so you can kind of see where. You do have to be majority Latino owned, so that means 51% or more has to be Latinos. Question that we often get, what kind of businesses are we accepting into this program?
The goal of this program is to get more Latina-owned businesses to get to their first $1 million in annual revenue or more. So we are looking for businesses, first and foremost, business owners that have that drive, right, that want to get to that next milestone of achieving $1 million in revenue, which means we're looking for companies that can scale. And by scale, it's very different than just growing for the sake of growing. It's growing not necessarily in terms of like number of employees, but actually, again, revenue and profitability. And so most of the time, those require a product-based approach, right? So not just technology companies. We're looking. You okay, Gregor? Not just for technology companies. You can be a brick and mortar company, but you have to prove to us within your application or within your thesis of how you would create a repeatable model that would then enable you to get to that milestone of 1 million or more.
Sometimes we're our own biggest barrier, so you never know if you don't apply.
If we don't answer your questions during this show, just drop them on the comments on our YouTube channel, and we'll be sure to respond to those as well.
It is an 8-week program, as I mentioned earlier. We will have in-person and virtual experience on there as well, some self-paced stuff on on there. So it's not like we require all your attention for 8 weeks. We do have, a weekly workshop that we want you to attend, but most of it will be self-paced. We also have plenty of perks.
I'm listening.
If you're accepted into the program, you also have use of this space. We have lots of mentors, advisors that are part of the program. So if we can answer a question right away, we also have people that we can connect you to. And then at the end of the program, we do ask that you attend our half-day program. This program is for entrepreneurs that already have a business registered with the Secretary of State here. But as we mentioned earlier, it's not just about what you're doing and who's in your network, but also who you see kind of reach that scale, reach that success. So we also want to inspire the next generation, those entrepreneurs that are maybe thinking about starting a business but don't know where to start. So at the end of the program, we will have a half-day program for you to tell your story, to kind of show you off to the community, show you off to future entrepreneurs as well. So that will also be a requirement for the program.
What do you think, Greg? How are you doing? First of all,
Tell us something,
I'm
Greg.
not doing well.
I feel like I'm dying inside.
we're in our fifth.
Why am I doing this?
We're halfway there.
Halfway there, brother.
Greg, we have you on here, I know, in tears, but you are a former participant for the program. What is something that you would share to anyone that's thinking of applying, maybe already, is maybe having questions about, am I a good fit for this program? What does this program really entail? What piece of advice would you share to that person?
Well, I didn't think that I was going to get chosen for the accelerator back in 2018. Because back then, at that particular moment, all I had was a business idea. I didn't even have a name, and I thought, man, they're not going to pick me because this is a brand new business. So don't sell yourself short. I mean, don't make the decision for let the committee be the ones to decide whether or not you're a good fit or not. Don't do it yourself, because if you don't apply, then you definitely aren't going to get chosen, right? And I almost didn't apply because I thought, no, they don't want businesses like me. They don't want people like me. They want other types of people. And I'm glad that I did, because Stitch Crew took a chance on me, and here we are today.
That's great.
Oh my goodness.
So for any entrepreneurs out there listening, how do you deal with burnout, doubts, stress while you're running your business?
Yeah.
No.
It's like a meatball.
This looks like it's dark brown like mole.
The hardest thing to do, I think, and Eric and I work on this a lot, and we're not that great at it, but is you have to step away, you have to turn it off at the end of the day sometimes, on the weekends, and focus on other things, recharge the batteries, because it's easy. It's really easy to constantly be on your laptop, after hours, on your phone, checking emails. And so it's hard. I'm not always good at it either, but I think that is probably the easiest way. I mean, there's a lot of ways to try to mitigate burnout, but the easiest thing to do is just to turn it off. And then, spend time with things that really are important, family. Otherwise, it's not enjoyable. I mean, it just becomes this is that thing that I do. It's me. You get defined by that, but that's not what it's about. So turn it off.
How has your business shifted over time?
At the very, very, very beginning, we had a whole different market, a whole different customer base as what we were intending to work with. And then we realized that customer base, that's not where the most potential was for growth and the most potential for income. And it was a customer base that doesn't spend as much as our current customer base. So yeah, we learned that early on, right? And one of the ways you can mitigate stress, to kind of piggyback off of your last question, is you got to know when to make changes and pivot and be okay with it. And there's not, to me, there's no such thing as failure. You either win, you either win or you learn.
How do you measure success in your business, whether KPIs or even personal?
For both organizations, it's always revenue, right? Revenue is clean, cash flows, and whether there's growth in terms of profitability. So those are like the standard KPIs for even for the nonprofits that we run, because we want to be sustainable and we want to build, a path that leads to sustainability. So revenue is always queen, but from an impact perspective, it's are we really helping and serving the entrepreneurs that we support reach scale?
Thank you. All right, next question.
Here we go.
Oh,
Almost not so bad.
It's not so bad.
That was good.
okay.
Talking about that roller coaster that is entrepreneurship. What has been one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome, and what has been one of the biggest highs, one of the most satisfying moments as an entrepreneur? Greg?
Oh, the biggest challenge. Well, I can't hardly think straight. Big challenge is when you're in a new space is customer education. When you're dealing with a new technology. Hold on.
You got this.
When you're dealing with new technology, not a lot of people know about. In our circumstances, virtual reality, right? So it's a new technology for a lot of people, and so it's hard because a lot of times people don't know the ins and outs, and they need to be educated on it, right? So if they don't understand the technology, chances are they don't understand why they need it. And but it's a big satisfaction to see their reaction to how the technology can actually help them, especially to better run their business or their organization.
This is, on the show when everyone kind of starts taking that lap. The next question is kind of easy, kind of fun for us. But whenever we're ready.
Oh no!
Okay, we're gonna go through this one fast. So this is FMK. If not so nice words. Oh, marry, kill. Kiss, marry, kill. Latinx food edition. Okay.
My God, pull yourself together!
Excuse me. So let's start with stews. All right, Erica. F, marry or kill.
I'm not sure I understand that.
Which of these foods would you F? So which one would you kiss, die for? Which one of these would you kill, get away with, and which one of these would you marry, like have all the time if you could? Menudo, pozole, or caldo de res?
Which one would I? But what was the question?
F, marry or kill.
And I have to pick one?
Yes.
Okay. Pozole I would marry. Menudo I would F. But I like caldo de res. Okay, but I'll kill caldo de res because I'm dying.
Okay, Chris, street food snacks edition. Elote, the fruta, the fruit, or the bolis or paletas, the ice cream.
Well, I want to kill Menudo.
Oh, no. That's so everyone knows. I'm really saying all the time.
The ice cream. What was it?
You would kill the ice cream.
Uh-oh.
You would F and marry elote or fruta.
I'm effing the ice cream.
Okay.
And the fruit, I don't
The
care.
fruit?
Yeah, I don't care about that.
So you kill that one.
Yeah, and Menudo.
Elote. So you
I
would
just don't like it.
you would marry the elote.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Greg, drinks. Would you F, marry, or kill? Or chata, Jamaica, or agua mineral?
Where's my eye?
Ooh. You're really staying on the tongue.
I gotta kill the Micah,
Okay.
Kill the Jamaica.
and I would kiss horchata, and I would Mary, Mary Water.
Okay. All right. I'll take one. This is the last one on this one. F. Marry or kill. Concha at the Panes edition sweets. Concha, churro, or tres leches. So I would. Oh, that's hard. I would, as much as I like it on this list, I'd kill Concha. I'd marry tres leches. And I'd F churro. Okay, all right.
You did it.
And just so everyone knows, Chris would F or kill menudo every time.
Get it out of here.
Okay. All right. Number 9 is Hellfire. This will be fun.
Here I go.
Oh, my God.
Same one. Oh, no.
Okay. One of our slogans here at Stitch Crew is nobody builds companies alone. I think we can all agree with that. Chris, in your experience, how important is it for founders to have people or a community they can turn to when times get tough?
Well, it's really important. There's as great as entrepreneurship is, and I love it. It's also sometimes it's lonely. You know, I mean, there's a lot of depression, there's a lot of anxiety. For all those reasons, I think it's important to have somebody you can vent to, talk to, confide in, get advice from. So I'm trying to answer this like I'm not affected by this heat at all.
What happened? I blacked out.
Greg shouted out Nancy, his mom, dad, earlier. Erica, who would you shout out as people that you turn to when times get tough?
Oh, well, definitely my family. All of the VAST members, which is an amazing group of professional women that by joining the membership, we commit to supporting one another and giving each other perspective, holding each other accountable. So definitely my family and all of the VAST members and everybody I'm forgetting to mention because my tongue is burning.
So on the show, they do put an extra dab on there. Do you guys want to do that?
Why would we do that?
Yeah.
I'll do it. Why do they do that?
Bragging rights, I guess.
Oh my God.
I just do.
Gabby.
I just poured a whole bunch on there.
Greg, are you gonna do it?
Careful, it comes
I
out
put it-
really fast.
Put it a little bit.
That's just what happens when it passes.
A little bit. Careful.
Oh God. Guys, it's creeping up. It's for all of us. For any new entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs already in it right now, what is one piece of advice you would share that was really helpful for you on your journey?
Perfection and growth don't coexist. So it's always a learning. You're always learning. Just have that mindset. Like, Greg mentioned it. Failure doesn't exist when you have the mindset of you're always learning and learning from things that went wrong, things that went right. So don't seek perfection, just seek for learning opportunities.
Try to harness technologies to create efficiencies in your company. There's a lot of ways to accomplish a lot in the power of several people by using technology. So I would do that. It's a good way to scale, and I'm done.
Every time I breathe, it just grows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Greg.
A wise person once told me, "Don't do the hot ones challenge." That's my advice.
Oh God, it is really hard to think. I would just say, turn to those people, find that community, turn to people when you're having doubts, when you're having burnout. The more I talk, the more this hurts.
The more you burn out.
Yeah. Thank you for watching us. If you have any other questions, head to stitchcrew.com/Latino-Accelerator. All of our questions on there. If we didn't answer anything, drop them in the comments. Stay tuned on social for any more updates that we have. And apply to our programs. Apply, don't count yourself out. I can't talk anymore.
Bye.
Thank you.